just has to be a handful. But let me share with you why we suggest that you just do a handful. Do you want to know why? Because if you do a handful, when you eat the rest of your foods that contain nuts, you won't overindulge in it. Okay? But if you want to do the double hand and then you have other items that you're making that has the nuts in it, then it becomes problematic. When nuts are used the right way, it becomes heart protective. When it's overindulged, it can have an adverse effect.
That's it. And this is probably a good time to mention for diabetics, it's good to do the nuts at the end of the meal to close the appetite. You know, the fats will do that. So some diabetics, they feel hungry in between their meals. When you start your meal with your vegetables, start with your raw foods, it stimulates the body, stimulates the appetite. Chewing, we mentioned that. Chewing is also important. And when you start with your raw foods, with your vegetables, you're chewing a lot. And that chewing sensation sends a message to the stomach. It lets the stomach know how much digestive juices to secrete so that the digestive process will be done the way it should be. And then you follow with your main core, your
proteins and your carbohydrates. You follow with those next, and then as Sister Daly mentioned, you close it off with your fats. Yeah. And closing it off with your fats means that you can actually come with a slice or two of bread with some natural nut butter in it or some olive oil in it. Sister Daly and I are going to give you an example of how that can be done in terms of a menu planning. Okay. And then I also want to take just a few moments to talk about some reports that we have in terms of health. Yes, right. Sister Daly, let's see what you just described come to life. Sister Daly, if we were supposed to do like a menu, we're going to just do like a quick sample menu for God's children, okay? And just as a rule of thumb, remember this, you guys learned this yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, for every 3,500 calories above your daily caloric intake, it's what? It adds 1 pound to the body. So let's say your daily caloric intake on a daily basis, just hypothetically, is 1,000. Okay, we know you're going to do more than
1,800.
But, you know,
nice number.
I was actually going to do like 1,000 for math purposes. Okay. You know, let's say it's
do 2,000 then. It's a little
okay,
more
then let's do 2,000 for math purposes, okay? Some people may choose to say, you know what, Brother Luke, I want to do 3 meals. And if we establish that 2,000 is going to be a daily caloric intake, you can actually split that 2,000 up into 3 different segments. You can maybe do 1,000 in the morning,
breakfast.
Or 1,200 you can probably do in the morning. Then you can come back and do maybe, let's see, maybe about, I would say about 600. 600. Yeah. We're up to what, 18? And I can do 200 for the last meal. Am I making sense there? Is that 2,000?
Yes, it is.
Good. Now, follow me here now. Someone can choose to break it into 3. But now someone can choose to break it into what?
2.
2. Is it the same caloric intake?
Yes.
Yes. So by the fact it's the same caloric intake, you're getting the same amount of calorie, but if you take the calories, depending on the time of day you take the calories, it actually has a more positive effect upon the body. If you take that same 2,000 calories, break it in 2, take it at an earlier hour than the later hour, you'll find that the effect on the body tends to be extremely positive. It's just like when we work with kids, you know, like little babies, like a toddler, like a 2-year-old toddler. Someone says, how many meals can you recommend to a toddler? Well, how much calories would you give to a toddler? And once you establish the amount of caloric intake by that toddler, if we choose to break it into 2, if we choose to break it into 3, it really doesn't make a difference as long as that child is getting the proper caloric intake based on their caloric expenditure. Yeah. Amen? And with so much time we have to go into this. So Sister Daly, let's give them a simple but simple way of menu planning. We have sample 1, sample 2, and then I'll go over a sample 3 meal that was actually cut off of here.
Very well.
So
for sample 1, for fruit, you need 3 to 5 servings of fruits. And then you need your whole grains, cereal with unsweetened cereal with fruit. You can sweeten your cereal with fruit, slices of bananas or whatever other fruits you want to put into that. and you need 1 cup serving of that. And a serving, just a little hint, a serving of bread would be 1 slice of bread. A serving of fruits would be 1 cup of fruits. A serving of apple would be 1 medium-sized apple, or 1 medium-sized banana, if that's what you're having. So the serving is not just, what you think it is as much as you can eat, but it is designated portions so we don't overdo our calories.
And as Sister Daly mentioned, like the banana, I'll give you a perfect example on how to figure out what's an appropriate serving for a banana. Okay? Let's just use this book, for example. Let's say this is a banana. If you can get 2 hands over the banana like this, how many servings?
2 servings.
2 servings. If it fits in the palm of your hand like this, how many servings?
1.
1. If it takes 2 hands, now saints, to go ahead and cover that, 2 servings.
The apple, if it's larger than...
Okay? As Sister Daly mentioned it, if it's in the palm of the hand right there, that medium apple, that medium orange, it's 1 serving. To kind of give you an idea how you're going to do it. 12 large grapes is a serving. 15 small grapes is a serving. To kind of give you an idea. When we say 3 to 5 servings, we don't mean 3 to 5 different types. Am I making sense there? We mean 3 to 5 serving. Like, for example, this morning for breakfast, I'll tell you guys what I did for my fruits. For my fruits, I had a good amount of watermelon. Good amount of servings of melon first. From my melon, I actually went ahead and have my bananas next. Okay? And my banana next. So why did I do my melon and then my banana? Traditionally, I know many of you guys have been taught melon alone or leave it alone. That's not true. What it is that melons are by far the most easily digested food. So as a result, they require to actually go first, to lead out. And if you let the melon lead out, they will run fast ahead and go straight ahead. And then you can bring everybody else behind. And saints, I know some folks are going to say, well, Brother Luke, don't you know the stomach churn? Of course. When it says the stomach's churn, the stomach does not churn like this, which someone may think churning is. The stomach actually churns like this. Okay? So, but in the same token, it is important to understand, that you want to do your live food first. You want to do your fruits or your vegetables first. And you want to make sure that as much as possible, you don't mix fruits and vegetables at the same meal. Amen?
Amen.
Go ahead, sister.
And we already went over some of the things that are fruits that we would have considered vegetables. So we have to remember that technicality. You did that here with this group?
Well, tell you what. Yesterday at the cooking school, I know they did. But let's just check and make sure they understand. Now, saints, let me ask you, what is a fruit?
Seed within a seed.
Genesis 1:11. You remember we teach from how many sources? 3. The Bible, inspiration, and good science. So Genesis 1:11 says it has a what? A seed within itself. So let me ask you guys a question now. What is a tomato? Okay, good. What is a banana? Wait a second. What is a banana? So when it's green, it's a what? Oh, where you get that teaching from, elder? The gentleman said when it's green, it is a vegetable. Where did you get that teaching from? Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord. Elder, you read the wrong book. I have never yet seen a fruit turn to a vegetable or vegetable turn to a fruit. Amen? That sounds like amalgamation. Okay? I found that if it's one, it's going to be one all the way. What he's probably more referring to, there's something actually called a vegetable grain. Okay? But there's no such thing as a vegetable fruit. Let me explain to you what I mean by a vegetable grain. When a corn is young, it can be eaten just like that without any harmful tendencies. But once it is dried, it's now fully a grain. Are we making sense there? So a corn, even though technically the end result of a corn is a grain, in the early stage, it's considered like a vegetable grain. Amen? But there's no such thing as vegetable fruit. Okay? A banana has a seed at all times.
Seeds. little seeds.
Little seeds right in the middle. If you don't see them here, do me a favor. Consider going to Africa. Consider going to the islands. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a good friend of mine who went to Africa, and he was eating the banana in Africa. And when he bit the banana, he almost broke his teeth. He bit the hard seed in the midst of the banana because in Africa, the seeds in the banana are much bigger. Yep. Mercy. Have you guys ever seen the little line in the middle of the banana? Yeah. What do you think is normally on the inside?
Seed.
Seed.
On the kind of bananas we get, you might not even notice that there's a seed. But when you get organic bananas, the seeds are very pronounced. And you can tell. Plus, there are different varieties of bananas too. So many different varieties.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So let's continue here now.
Continuing.
What is pumpkin? Real quick.
Fruit.
Pumpkin.
Fruit.
Okay. What is okra?
Fruit.
What is eggplant?
Fruit.
Now, saints, listen to this. There is raw fruit and cookable fruit. Mm-hmm. Just like there's raw vegetables and cookable vegetables. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you a question. You know, like bean, like that
string
comes
bean.
in a pot. String bean.
String
what
bean.
Is string bean?
Fruit.
String bean is a fruit. You know, most people don't realize that string bean is a fruit. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Cucumbers.
What is cucumber? It's a fruit again, too. Mm-hmm. Oh, making sense, dear? Yeah. Amen. Let's go on, dear.
All right, going on. Then, what's great, and we talked about this, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed freshly ground can be sprinkled over your cereal for breakfast. And you know this is adding to your food so much more nutrients. We just talked about the virtues of the flaxseed. And then you could also do half a cup of pumpkin seed. This can be eaten with your breakfast cereal, and it's extremely good. All right?
Yes, please. Just sprinkle the wheat germ over your cereal.
Cereal.
That's okay. Sprinkle.
We needed to repeat. You know, she said she wasn't sure what to do for breakfast, so she did the cereal with some wheat germ, with flaxseed, and then you had the wheat germ and you put it in some soy yogurt.
Cold yogurt.
Yeah, because
and
she
it
wasn't
actually
sure.
affected her stomach.
Yeah.
And the reason why it affected your stomach is because cold causes constriction.
That's it.
So basically what the cold did, it shuts down the stomach. So as you just said, you should have made sure that the yogurt was at room temperature, so you'd have been fine. But technically speaking, you can put the flaxseed and the wheat germ together on the cereal in one shot. Okay?
But it's just the temperature that affected you. Also, 1 to 2 slices of whole grain bread with natural almond would be an excellent way for that.
And when we say almond, we mean like the almond butter, amen? Like the natural almond butter that's spreadable. And then you can use like tahini butter, cashew butter, and you know, even some olive oil you can go ahead and put on that bread. Yes. Do you know that many times we've had a chance to work with people who are diabetics, and just by putting the fat at the end, as Sister Daly mentioned, it actually shuts down the craving, hunger craving, and it actually caused the sugar level to rise gradually, maintain that level for an extended period of time before it actually begins to descend. We can actually use this method to work with diabetics, where you'll find that instead of having them eat the 3 meals with the snacks in between and that evening snack again, they'll just go to either a 2-meal plan or a 3-meal plan, no snacks, without any drops in their blood sugar level or anything like that.
And with excellent recovery from the medication and the insulin and the different things they take. I think this is an excellent time to say again, even if you've said before, that for diabetics, many times we're afraid of the sugars. And if we're doing natural fruit sugars, you know, getting our sweets from our fruits, we're not in any danger. But instead of sugar being the major harm for diabetics, it is the fats that harm diabetics, and it's the way the fats are eaten.
That is correct. And when we talk about fat, we're talking about the animal-based fats.
Yeah.
Amen?
Yep.
Yes, Sister Daly.
Sample meal number 2. You could do, and this could be like for lunchtime or dinner time, salad and or vegetables, half of a plate, medium-sized plate. Or it could be 1 or 2 servings. Grains, half of a plate of grains. Sorry, a quarter. So this could be one serving, okay? Grains